guys, what's going on? This is Eric here, and today I'm back with a brand new video. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite shows of all time, titled Kid Nation, which is a CBS reality show in which they get 40 kids from all over the country to New Mexico to Bonanza City, where they all got to go form up their own town in order to create a society better than the adults. It's really crazy, fun, and wacky. I just rewatched the first and only season, for the third time, so I'm feeling really good about this tier list. It'll be really exciting. So first up, we have Hunter. Hunter, was a member of the green team. He was pretty quiet, wasn't shown towards the later episodes, but really hardworking guy and extremely unproblematic, which is something pretty huge. He also voted for Michael in for the new council, the Council of Doom, as they say. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw Hunter in A tier. Believe it or not, he did also earn a gold star. Really nice. Brett, he's had a very few amount of lines. He was on the yellow team. He was not on, Taylor's squad or anything, in Taylor's Mean Girls squad. He was one of the younger kids. Overall, he didn't really do a lot, and he didn't have many lines at all. So for that, I'm gonna go ahead and put him in the C tier. Next up, we have Dylan.
Guys, please vote me off.
A former leader of the red team. He is, he mostly got his shine in the show from his leadership on the show, and, I don't think he gets enough credit for what he does. Don't get me wrong. He really lacked actual leadership ability, and he actually lacked a lot of actual strength. But, he convinced DK to stay. Not to mention, he was the only one that was really willing to oppose Mike, which is what Mike needed to really become a better, person. So, for that, even though he wasn't the best leader, wasn't the most qualified, I'm going to go ahead and put him as a B tier character. Next up, we have Sophie. Now, Sophie is actually one of Taylor's Mean Girls. She is on the yellow team, doesn't really have a whole lot of lines on the show, but when you did see her, she was with Taylor, and even though I don't know her the best, I'm still gonna put her into the D tier category, just because she was not, she was just not on the right side. Next up, we have Emily. Emily, she was on red team. She was probably the weakest link on red team before she switched over to the blue team as a result of Anjay. Anjay definitely encouraged her a lot to, do better and stuff. However, I do have some bad points about Emily. For one, she was a really weak link in red team, so pretty much for half the show, she was a really uneventful, useless character.
Hey, Emily, can you help me get water for the laundry?
Nope.
Well, why not?
Because I'm not gonna.
Emily drives me crazy.
She's just lazy, and she just doesn't really care about the red district.
She, had an unhealthy attachment to the chickens. Every single time, pretty much the entire town was down to, kill those chickens. On multiple occasions, she'd try and stop it and block it from happening, which was just, at that point, annoying and obnoxious, to be quite honest with you. And she also, Anjay was really the person who reformed her. She voted to kick Anjay out in favor of Greg. We don't really know why, but she did, because the only two people who voted for Anjay were Anjay and Alex. So for that, Emily is an F tier. Sorry. Emily, F tier. Just how is your first F tier. Next up, we got Olivia. Olivia, I don't really got a lot to say. I mean, she was a big proponent of getting her sister the gold star. She was really nice up until then. And then afterwards, she just started ragging on Anjay big time. Here,
Make us feel better. Or sit there and scratch your head.
Guys, we're merchants right now. What do we want to be when we get out of this house?
Oh, you're so sad. He looks like a puppy.
she was tearing him down, even when he'd get really bothered, really upset, she just continued on. She ragged on him during the comedy show. The comedy show was not that hot. I mean, all she did was make fun of people how she normally does, but now people clap because it's a comedy routine, you know? Overall, not really good, and she continued to make snide comments about Anjay and other people throughout the show, but she really, really belittled Anjay, tried to run against him, failed, but, you know, she still tried to continue her onslaught of Anjay afterwards, so she's a solid F-tier character for me. Next up, we got Mike. Now, Mike, you know, he's one of the original council members. Overall, his ego at the start was really obnoxious. You know, at the very start, without moving the cargo, he's just doing the air traffic control thing and everything. He really did not strike me as a likable character. He got destroyed against Guylan, you know, just absolutely destroyed. But after that, he started to show some improvement. Granted, he was still obnoxious at times. That really humbled him. Like, you really got to be some kind of guy to lose 1 to 9 and still stay on the show and try and prove yourself. So, you know, he did have a little bit of redemption at the end. I'm going to put him at a solid C. Next up, we got Laurel. She is an original town council member as well. She also held the seat past the first election and lost in the second election to Michael. Now, Laurel is, you know, really compassionate, nice. I mean, she tried really hard to get Jimmy to stay.
Let's skin, yeah? Right here. Let's go.
What's going on?
I'm only 8, I'm in a 3rd grader, and I think I'm too young to be doing this.
Even if you're really young, you're really cool and you're really awesome and you can really do a lot for this town.
During the first round, you know, she is a huge proponent of her own district. I think one of her big flaws, and this is said in the show as well, she cares more about her own district than the town, you know. And another thing, she started to get a little bit power hungry. You know, in the first election, it is of my belief that Laurel held a little meeting beforehand, you know, as noticed in the show, to make sure that no one else would run against her. I think if she didn't hold that meeting, I think Michael actually would have run against her the first time, despite, you know, him saying otherwise. I think he would have tried to run against her. But, you know, she is overall a good character. She's very nice and sweet and, you know, motherly towards a lot of the people on the show. So, and she, you know what, she comforted Taylor early on as well. So for that, I'm going to give her an A tier. But because of her, you know, power hungriness, she's held back just a little bit. Next up, we have Maggie. Maggie's for the most part not seen in the show, so I'm just gonna put her in at D. Like I couldn't tell you anything about her. I don't even know what state she's from or anything. Cody, he was the second contestant to leave because he missed his family and most of all he missed his girlfriend. Cool guy, I gotta say. Like, you know, he went jackrabbit hunting with Jimmy and he really wanted Jimmy to stay and everything. And you're showing around pictures of his girlfriend to all the guys at the saloon. It was cute and it was entertaining for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and put Cody in at B tier. He's a good guy for sure. Next up we have Greg. Now I was really having a lot of trouble putting Greg at S or A tier, you know, because Greg is a powerhouse. He does so much work at all the showdowns. He's able to become a leader. He's really good at consoling a lot of people.
I know all of you are looking at me right now. Please don't get Greg on council. Please don't get Greg on council. You know, I may have a bad past, but maybe this is my chance to show that I'm not such a bad guy. Vote for me.
Greg is not my favorite guy in the world, and I was scared.
But at the end of the day, he is a little bit of a... No, he is a jackass to a lot of the other kids, especially the younger ones. He's swearing at them. He's being really mean. He laughed at Zach when Zach was crying about, you know, when Zach nominated himself for the gold star.
This is my last chance. I set a goal for myself every single day to try to get something done, and that all adds up to something in the end. I think that I have been working hard, and I try to cheer people up even though it has been a tough time for me also.
You know, so that is just the sort of personality that Greg has. I know he's super popular. I think after the show ended, like right after, Greg probably had to have been the most popular character because there's literally a forum dedicated to Greg that's still up to this day. So, you know, it was really tough because Greg also has a lot of entertainment value. I could definitely see an argument made for him being S, but for now, he is A. Next up, we have Anjay, another original town council member, really nice guy, never got the gold star. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a lot of people who did get the gold star. Greg did get the gold star for his hard work. I don't know why I missed that. Hunter, Laurel, and I think that's it so far. We got Anjay, who never got the gold star, original town council member. He won his first re-election. Anjay is a really smart leader in my opinion. You know, he prioritized the town of Bonanza over his own district during the switching up. You know, he gave away Blaine and Nathan, and Blaine was Zach's request, and Guyland requested Nathan. And he was okay with it because he thought that was best for the town, you know. Additionally, at the very start of the show, he made a very key play by getting the strongest kids for the showdowns. He got Greg and Blaine, very strong guys, and on the other side of the showdowns, there's intelligence as well. He got Alex, who is like one of the smartest kids on the show by far. And he is extra nice as well because he wanted to keep friends together, and he kept Mallory and Olivia together. Something that I don't think Olivia ever really came to appreciate. So, all that gassing up about Anjay, I do think he cannot take criticism. You know, when people really pushing him and, you know, hurting his feelings, he would sort of break down and he couldn't make a strong defense of himself, which was unfortunate because Anjay is a super solid guy outside of that. Very capable leader, definitely very knowledgeable, like all the history stuff, all the IQ related stuff, he killed. So, you know, unfortunately, Anjay's gonna be in A tier, but he's still dope. Next up, we have me.
About boys, we talk about everything like there is to talk about.
Some people have like said that Natasha and Melee are Paris and Nicole.
I just want to wash my hair. I feel so disgusting.
Yeah.
My hair.
But I don't really know what that really means.
Who honestly did not really become relevant towards the last two episodes of the show. She was shown to, you know, defend characters such as Emily and, you know, become more hardworking, but she even says it herself. She was really lazy in the first half of the show, but then started working harder, you know, just as time progressed to build a better Bonanza. So honestly, I'm not really sure about Migle winning the 50,000 gold star. I think that's pretty huge, and, you know, I don't exactly agree with that. So we're gonna go ahead and put Migle in C tier. Next up, we have Kelsey. Kelsey is one of Taylor's Mean Girl squad.
Zach, you're a unibrow.
And honestly, she is so mean and so bratty and does like whatever Taylor wants. She's definitely a yes man for Taylor. That's all about there is to say. Like, she doesn't really like to work hard. She is a little bit better than Layla and Taylor, because a lot of times Layla and Taylor are doing the completely other thing. I think if other leaders press her, she will do things, but overall she is a brat like the rest of them. Kelsey, you're in F tier. Next up, we have Pharaoh, very hard-working guy. He did nominate himself for the gold star, did not get it. Michael actually said later that he wanted to give Pharaoh the gold star at the end. Didn't exactly happen. But, you know, Pharaoh, he actually had some cool dance moves in some other episodes as well. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and put Pharaoh in B tier, just because he's not really shown a lot. Next up, we got Natasha. You know, Migle did have a come up. Natasha did not really join her in that come up. They started out as friends, but Natasha didn't really contribute too much. But she was pretty unproblematic as well, which is why I'm going to put her in as D tier. Next up, we have Blaine. You know, one of the powerhouses of Bonanza City. Definitely really strong, really capable, but, you know, he did not have these sort of problems that Greg had as well. You know, even Anjay said that it was a mistake to get rid of Blaine because he should have gotten rid of Greg. Because, you know, Blaine was really chill. He was really chill about being moved to the yellow team.
So I just decided just to go calmly and not make a big deal out of it.
And, you know, when he was out of Greg's shadow, he was really able to step up and do a lot of leadership activities and, you know, try to do a good job. You know, a lot of times he even conflicted with Greg. and you know, a lot of times you didn't think what Greg did was necessarily right. So he had a pretty good character arc, I gotta say. So I'm gonna go ahead and put him in S tier. That's our first S tier today, guys, but there's more to come. Next up we have Randy. Now she's definitely pretty interesting. She left. She's the third person to leave, I think on day 28, and she left because, you know, she was homesick. And you know, right before then they actually missed like the showdown reward, which is like actual beds, and I honestly think that because, you know, they missed out on that, that was one of the big reasons why she ended up leaving. But Randy, I gotta say, she was one of Taylor's Mean Girl squad, and she would have been completely safe if she just voted Taylor in again in the first election, but she voted for Zach because she wanted to change. And so she pretty much gave up her security, you know, with Taylor for a change with Zach.
Taylor is a loyal friend, but I think it's time that she should let somebody else take her spot.
Which is something that really strikes me as a big and notable thing that she did. So actually I'm gonna go ahead and put her up in B tier. Like that was something that she did that was huge in my opinion. Eric, pretty minor character. He doesn't really do a lot. He did get in a few fights. He was at the talent show and stuff. He tried, you know, to sing and play the piano. He plays the piano in actually the very last scene of the show as well. Overall, nice guy, but overall pretty inconsequential character. So for that, I'm going to put him in the C tier. Next up, we have Layla, who is actually Taylor's right-hand man, pretty much. I mean, they're always together. However, you know, Layla's pretty willing to break away from Taylor when confronted with a punishment. However, I mean, you know, she is Taylor's right-hand man, so for that I am going to put her in F tier. We got Morgan up next, who is sort of like the mother figure in Kid Nation. She actually wins 2 gold stars. She wins the 20,000 gold star and the 50,000 gold star at the end, which, you know, is pretty huge. She has definitely made a huge impact on a lot of people. She unfortunately does not really get a lot of airtime after the religious episode, but, you know, because of all her contributions and the fact that everyone genuinely likes her, I'm gonna put her up as A tier, definitely. Nathan, you know, like everyone on the show says, he's a different guy. He has a different, you know, walks to a different beat, but overall he's a really nice guy and he works hard. He values work over other things, and because of that, you know, he's a really interesting character and adds a lot to Bonanza, I gotta say. And he's Alex's best friend, so, and he won the gold star. So you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and put Nathan in A tier. Next up we got Zach. Zach, I gotta say, I think is awesome.
I just want you to understand that if you want Taylor to be your leader because she wakes you up late, you can do that. If you want me to be a leader because I can make this town better and I can clean this place up and make this place a good place to live, that's your choice.
I think, you know, when I watched the show in high school a few years ago, Zach was my favorite character. I gotta say, he works hard. He, you know, dethroned Taylor, which is huge for sure. As a 10-year-old, I think he has a lot of remarkable leadership abilities. He's intelligent. He did very well in a lot of the showdowns and everything. You know, even though Blaine was a leader himself, Zach was able to, you know, accomplish quite a lot. So, you know, it was a shame that he lost to Blaine by a pretty wide margin, or a pretty slim margin, I gotta say. Zach is an S tier. You know, he's a hard worker, and you can just tell that he really cares about the benefit of Bonanza and is a capable leader. Next we got Markel. Markel is not in a lot, but when he's there, he's funny, I gotta say. He rips up Taylor's poster and freaking pogos, like, gets on a pogo stick and start bouncing on it. Like, that's funny, you know? Like, screw Taylor, honestly. So, we got Markel. I'm gonna put him up in A tier. He also did a good job of holding, you know, being the MC for the talent show. Overall, good, nice character to have. Not really featured a lot, but when he's there, he kind of steals the show, in my opinion. Really, really funny guy. Next up, we have Kennedy, who is a gold star winner. She won it primarily for her comedy routine. That actually was a nice gesture because her friend Savannah was getting homesick, and she pretty much did it to keep her around, comedy and rap routine. I gotta say, I wasn't really a big fan of the comedy routine. I get that it was a nice gesture and everything, but it didn't really land with me. And a lot of her other stuff, you know, she wasn't really featured too much in the show outside of that. So for that, I'm gonna go ahead and put her in C tier. Next up, we got Taylor.
They're just gonna have to deal with it.
Hey, you're sorry, but you're gonna have to deal with it.
This is breakfast?
Deal with it. They're gonna have to deal with it.
Ooh man, Taylor. Give me a second, guys. We're gonna go ahead and yeah, okay. So there we go. We got oops, sorry, I'm completely bad at this. We actually just added our very own F- tier, guys. You know, Taylor, sorry if you ever end up watching this, you know, you just gotta deal with it. I'm sorry. F- for Taylor. She really is especially obnoxious. I mean, it's so hard for her to come around and actually do work as a leader. You know, she sort of tries to monopolize her leadership position by having, you know, 5 girls to 4 boys. And to be honest, she doesn't really care about making sure the other kids are even feel safe or welcome for the most part, unless they're in her posse. And a lot of the kids just overall do not get along with her.
They had chickens with a big furry cheek sticking out of their head, and those are real, like, ugly, so I don't care about them. I think all the ugly animals should die and all the pretty ones should stay. Ugly people can put on makeup and they look pretty. Chickens can't do that.
So it's just unfortunate. Next up, we got DK. Really nice guy. I mean, he threatened to leave Bonanza City once because he thought there's too much drama. But to be honest, I, and the opinion of a lot of other people, think that he's a little bit of a drama queen because, you know, he did collapse during the whole cargo thing.
What happened, man? What happened?
What happened? Is it a sudden pain or a...
Yes.
Right here? Right here?
Yes.
Keep your foot down. It's just a muscle cramp.
I think it's like a spasm.
Let him just walk slowly. If you want help walking.
I think I pulled a muscle in my leg or something. It was very painful.
I'm gonna lift you up. Ready?
Greg helped me out. That was pretty cool.
And then he had a tendon issue on the last episode of the show where he just sat down for the last minute and everything, and then Greg and Blaine had to carry him. You know, I think he did a good job as a leader. I think, you know, maybe he's a little bit easy to manipulate by Greg and Blaine, and he was a little bit of a hothead as well. So for that, I'm going to put him as B tier. He is also a gold star recipient. Next up, we have Michael. Michael has been a remarkable character since the start, in my opinion. You know, he is one of the best characters on the show. Like, he starts out when things are chaotic, he makes a really nice grand speech. He's really known for making these powerful speeches, but overall, you know, he's someone who really cares about Bonanza and keeps a level head amongst all things. And he gets a lot of screen time, and he is actually on the Council of Doom, or, you know, the third council after he wins the second election from Laurel.
This is exactly coming from my heart right now. I love all of you equally. You guys are all my best friends here. I just kind of want to do this to test myself, just to see how I would do. I really do think I can make this a better place for you and for the rest of you guys.
So for that, we're actually going to put Michael up in S tier. You know, when he's there, he really shines for sure. Next up, we have Maddie. Now, she, to my recollection, only really has one scene. She gets freaking spaghetti pasta sauce on her shirt in the very last episode of the show. For that, we're just going to put her up in D. Like, that's all I got to say. Anjay just points it out. She doesn't even get a line. Anjay's like, yeah, Mandy got spaghetti sauce on her shirt. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Next up, we got Savannah, who ultimately played a pretty small part on the show. But she was, you know, kind of nice when she needed to be. She did make that, like, Kentucky-style dinner, and she wanted to go home at some point. So, overall, pretty minor character. I'm going to go ahead and put her next to her best pal, Kennedy, in the C tier. Next up, we have Campbell, another pretty minor character.
so.
He appears here or there, just having fun and everything. He dances after a few showdowns and stuff, which is pretty nice, but overall not too notable or anything. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to put him in D tier. I can't really see any reason to justify him getting bumped up to C. We have Gianna here, who I have no clue at all about. We're just gonna have to put her in at D tier. Sorry. Next up, we got Sophia. I mean, she's the freaking sheriff. She gets the gold star twice, the $20,000 one and the $50,000 one. She's huge. I mean, since the first episode, like, she literally shows these guys how to cook. Before then, no one knew how to cook. So without a doubt, she had a really big impact on the show since the start. So we're gonna go ahead and put her at S tier. I mean, she's the sheriff. Everyone respects her. Even people don't think they're gonna respect her, they end up respecting her. And of course, shout out to all her social experiments. Those are huge. She really, you know, sort of saw the meta of the show and tried to break it.
How are you doing? I've been really bored in Bonanza lately, so I laid down in the middle of town, and I was unresponsive, just like this.
Mind if I join you?
I was really surprised people laid down with me.
What are you guys doing? Is this town like bored to death?
Oh, get off!
Everybody must be silent.
This place is so boring. You see what I've resorted to?
So, for so many reasons, Sophia has to be S tier. Next up, we got Colton, who honestly is a pretty badass kid. You know, he is a lot of fun. He had a standoff with the bull, and, you know, a bull, like a live bull. That was pretty cool. And he also pretty much soloed for the yellow team one time during the sheep challenge. You know, he got all the cards for them, so they entirely placed well because of him. And he also did remarkably well during the slingshot challenge as well. And that's what I can think of off the top of my head. But overall, very unproblematic character and nice guy. Jared, the most quotable character on the show by a mile.
As Martin Luther King Jr. said, I have a dream. Sped up the natural cycle of life and death and gave these two suckers a shortcut.
We have accelerated the cycle of life and death. We have given these suckers a shortcut. There's no way we're not giving this guy S tier. I mean, you know, there's so much to be said about this guy. His pimp outfit, the necklaces that he made. I mean, he's by far the most entertaining character on the show. He does so much. He's so smart. He's brilliant. Probably one of the guys who really deserved a gold star that unfortunately never got it. Next up, we got Jasmine, who is not really seen much. You do see her at the talent show, where she ultimately does not really do much. I mean, she sings and she has a nice voice, but unfortunately we don't really see anything of her outside of that, so that's just the unfortunate reality. We got Devad next. Now this is going to surprise some people, but I'm going to put her next to Taylor in F-. Now here's the reason why. Because Devad, I mean, ultimately strikes me as a selfish person. You know, she fries up potatoes all the time. That's pretty much all she's really seen doing when she is on screen. And she sells them. And I want to say this, I don't actually have a problem with her selling them, but she thinks because she is selling them, that merits a gold star.
Anything these guys want me to do, I'll do it for them. I'll
water.
What?
If you said anything that the talent wants her to do, she'll do it.
That's beneficial to Bonanza City.
It is beneficial.
A little more beneficial.
Do you have enough money?
Anyway.
You know, and you know, she's just gold star fishes so hard, so insanely hard that everyone sees right through it. And you know, she keeps trying. And like, you know, I understand like a lot of characters want the gold star, but she's very selfish about it. And you know, the reason why she's nice to people, it just comes off as extremely fake nice. And just something about her nominating herself every time she was up just really bothered me. I just can't explain it, you know? Next up, we got Jimmy. He was actually the first kid to leave. He's the youngest contestant ever at 8 years old. Really nice kid, cried a lot, and you know, he was pretty aware that he couldn't handle things. So for that, I'm gonna put him at B. You know, he was liked by everyone, but he just didn't really stick around for too long. But if he did stick around, I could definitely see him moving up to A or even S tier depending on what happened, you know? Next up, we have Mallory. Despite Olivia being F, you know, we're actually going to put Olivia in at A. You know, she's a really nice person, and during the showdowns, she's not necessarily featured a lot, but you definitely see her trying very hard at all of these. You know, a lot of times when you're moving like the houses, she's like running around, grabbing the egg, and like the egg launch challenge and stuff. She definitely tries her best, and she, you know, helps out in ways that you wouldn't ordinarily think of. Like the daycare was really cute. Did I necessarily think that she deserved the gold star? Unfortunately, I don't. I think most people will probably think it was largely influenced because it happened to coincide with her birthday. Even Michael thinks that, you know, they should have just gotten her candy or something for her birthday. But I'm not really going to rag on that for other people's decisions on how to, you know, do things with her. So, really sweet person, though, for sure. And, you know, she got the gold star, which I'm not really, like, upset about. Next up, we got Alex.
Come get your gold star, Alex.
Alex, here's your gold star.
One of the last gold star winners. Super nice guy. You know, he hates swear words. He hates fighting. Super smart guy. I mean, he brought the atlas with him, and like I think like a Navajo book with him as well. He loves books, loves knowledge, loves learning. Always nice guy. Everyone loves him. You know, ultimately very, very caring guy, and definitely deserving of that gold star just as much as anyone else in S tier, in my opinion. So yeah, guys, that just about does it for the official Eric Barber Kid Nation tier list. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you guys, you know, had anyone else in different positions, feel free to let me know. Also, this is a long shot, but if anyone here from Kid Nation involved with it at all, you know, wants to be on the show, be on The Eric Barber, I know I'm really small and stuff, but if you're interested in all or want to get some things straight, feel free to reach out to me and we can get something going. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.